So we're on to the last and final episode. Now, I will say with this episode, there was more meat. I actually liked this episode. There was more going on. Yeah. No more of these, well, I won't say no more. There were a few awkward silences, but I liked the pace of this one. Now, this episode started off with very similar to episode 1, where we're arguing about food. This time we're in the supermarket arguing about chicken. This chicken isn't chicken enough. Yes, you heard me. This chicken isn't chicken enough. That was the argument. Oh dear. Moving on. The next scene we saw was Jessica moving out of her boyfriend's house, which is supposed to be temporary, so it seems. And I'm going to assume the reason she's moving is because of the guy she met maybe the day before, Mark, and looking at how they related compared to the relationship she's in right now. Do not compare. I'm hoping with meeting Mark that she's seen her worth. We saw the dad come with the empty suitcase for her to put her clothing in, and he went upstairs, did all that for her, but whilst packing her bag, he turned around and said to Adam, he needs to grow up. Adam was saying something, I can't think, something about women. Women are like this or women are like that. And the dad turned around and said for him to grow up. So that was a bit of a shocker. The dad also called him a pig. Adam, being offended by this, told the girlfriend downstairs when he went to see her off to say, your dad was very rude to me. And she defended the dad this time to say, no, you're just manipulating the situation. This time she didn't believe the boyfriend. She believed her dad. So that was a surprise. When the dad was asked whether he had said that, he denied it, of course. Wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all? But then again, I'm not too sure I would deny it. No, I say yes, I did call him a prick. Yes, I did say this to him. And that would have been my answer. The next scene we saw was the boss, Jamie, going to therapy. Now, why am I surprised? We saw him sat on the couch talking to his therapist. Her first question to him was, how has your week been? We didn't really get to hear the answer to that. All I heard was his car, and then he started crying. But we know the therapy session is more than that. I'm going to presume it's all about his mother, because we know his mother passed, I believe, from cancer, if I remember him saying in the first episode. Yeah, I think that's right. So with all this bravado that he has, we know he has his own issues. Moving on from there, we then see him come to the office. And he looked panicked because he walked in and then he walked right back out again. And then he came back in again, trying to show more professionalism because he looked quite dishevelled when he first walked in. So he's again putting on a bravado for the office, but he's not quite there. Not really. It looks like he's been off ill for a few days or even a week, because you see everybody asking him how he's feeling, whether he's feeling better, etc., etc. Another scene we see is one with Ian and Jessica in the house. He's loading the dishwasher as per usual. This seems to be a common theme, the dishwasher, loading the dishwasher. Then Jessica walks in with her phone, tapping away, texting. Her dad's asking her whether she wants breakfast, toast, tea, whatever. I lost track after a while. I could feel that scene there grating on me, because I'm seeing him trying to communicate with her and her ignoring him. Do you think my daughter can turn around and be tapping away on her phone and not answer me? Hell to the no. I found that totally disrespectful. Absolutely disrespectful. She eventually does answer. Eventually. We then saw a scene with Emma and Jamie at work in his office, having a little catch up of the week. And we saw Emma go in on him. I was surprised. I thought, yes, my girl. Tell him about himself. She gave him a good telling off about his drug taking and about how many kids out there he's ruining their lives by dealing in this shit. That's virtually what she was saying. Yeah. Good on you, Emma. This is the side of you I want to see more of. Someone that's got a bit of heart, backbone. Bring it on. Poor Jamie. He didn't stand a chance. Straight after that, we saw Emma come back into the main office and told the apprentice to get out the business credit card and for him to go and buy everyone a coffee. Yes, that's what she said. And I think he turned around and said, as in the apprentice turned around and said, oh, do we need to ask Jamie? She said, F Jamie. That's what she said. F Jamie. Oh, Emma, I'm liking you. I really am. We then saw a scene where Ian and Jessica went to his mother's house. His mother has passed away, but he still has the house and still has her belongings there. And he comes across a box of Jessica's childhood trinkets and drawings, etc., from when she was growing up. I believe he said that she came to them when she was 8 years old. Yeah, I'm sure that's what he said. And within this box, you saw pictures of drawings that she made as a child. And then there was a letter that he had personally written to her, but she had never seen. We eventually saw her sit down and read this letter after the back and forth of whether I should open it. Does he want me to open it? What do you think? Shall I open it or shall I not? Yeah. The back and forth, painful. We eventually saw her sit down and read this letter with him sitting by her side. But she read the letter to herself. And watching that and her emotions come across in her gestures had me welling up. That's where their relationship took a lovely turn. You saw her give her dad the biggest hug. Oh, I'm getting emotional now just thinking about it. But looking back on that scene, you could see that he needed the hug. Not so much her. He needed that from her. If he could have bawled out crying, he would have. But him being a man, he had to hold that in such a way. But it was definitely more emotional for him. He needed that. And it was from that moment there that you saw the dynamics of their relationship change. We saw them go out shopping to the supermarket, including the mum. And just the dynamics there just felt different. I remember the mum mentioned something about, oh, I had a showdown with Jamie at the office today. Everybody started laughing. They were shocked. The daughter turned around and said something like, I found him slimy anyway. Something like that, she said. Everybody was in stitches. And I know the dad was much more relaxed knowing that his wife had fallen out with the boss. But at the same time, watching that scene, you could see they looked more like a family now. The next scene we saw was Jamie getting in trouble again. This time with the parent of the female apprentice that used to work for him. Yes, we did see in episode 1 her round his house. And I did think to myself, what the hell are you doing there? He supposedly took advantage of that young lady. She's only 17, but he took advantage of her. I'm going to say he's about mid-30s, mid to late 30s. Taking advantage of a 17-year-old. That is disgusting. And I don't care what anybody tells me. That is disgusting. He couldn't explain himself out of this one. Not with her dad. No way in hell. He was squirming in his seat, didn't know what to do with himself. The next scene we saw was with Ian, Emma and Jessica going round to Emma's dad's place. Jessica got a warm welcome from the granddad. Them two seem to have a good relationship. Very good relationship. But did you see how jealous he got when he saw Ian with Jessica on the sofa having a good old laugh together? Did you see his face? Now we saw jealousy coming from the granddad with these two. I'm wondering to myself, is he wishing that he had that relationship with his daughter? With his own daughter? Because that relationship, as we know, is very strained. And still we don't know what that's about. We saw Jessica being the peacemaker in that dynamic, because you saw the granddad insulting his daughter about the food. And then you saw Jessica complimenting the mum for her food. Yeah. Horrible position to be in. Horrible position. Then we saw Jessica again trying to talk with her mum about Nicholas, this child that she lost. This was the first time they actually sat down and talked about it. Jessica was asking all the questions under the sun. She thought the baby was full term. The baby was 6 months in her stomach and she had to give birth. I'm assuming that the baby survived for a short period of time after giving birth, but shortly died afterwards. Then you saw the mother, as in Emma, crying her heart out. This is probably the first time she's ever done that. She's kept a lot to herself. But with her daughter asking all these questions, she could no longer hold it back. And that was a good release. She needed to do that. And as Jessica says, we need to talk more. The whole family need to talk more, including Grandad. Talking about we should talk more, what you saw happen next was, after Sunday dinner, they were busy cleaning up behind themselves in the kitchen. And you saw Jessica say that her and Jamie are no longer. And you saw the parents' faces. And she asked them, so what did you really think of him? They looked very hesitant to speak. But eventually they did speak out. Dad said he couldn't stand him. He hated him. Mum said something like he was effing controlling. Yeah. She was shocked. She wasn't expecting that. But you asked for it. They gave it to you. I'm glad these guys are speaking. Being honest with each other instead of covering over things and skating past things and letting things slide. You want the truth? Can you handle it? But all in all, she took it on the chin. Fast forward, we then see them taking her to her new abode. Looks like she's living with some students now. So she's moved out of her parents' house and moved into some new lodgings. And she looks happy. Then you see the parents come back, and it's the usual. In the door, take your coat off, take your shoes off, walk around in silence. The usual. Sitting on the sofa, looking at your laptop, and not much else, just sitting in silence. The next scene you see is them in bed, hugging in bed, facing each other, and her saying, "Please stop breathing on me." Oh, God. That there I found funny. We've all done it. Please stop breathing on me. Where am I supposed to breathe then? That's what he said next. Moving on. We then saw him talking about how Emma has been his rock for the past few months because he's been in this black hole for this period of time. And he's really just thanking her for just being there. Yeah. And that was the end. Yep. We've come to the end of this 4-part drama. It's had its highs, it's had its lows, its ups, its downs. And I'm sure we can all relate in some way or another. But with this drama, I would say it's given you food for thought. I do, however, wonder whether there'll be a part 2 with this, because we never did see Emma's brother Paul again after episode 1. I would like to know what their relationship's all about. Nor did we see Jessica's new guy again, Mark. Did they ever see each other again? And also, what happened to Jamie? And the situation with the female apprentice's dad? Yeah, I'd love to know where that went. Yeah, there's a few cliffhangers here. It'd be interesting to see whether there's a part 2. And if there is, I'll be back. So this is where I'll leave it. If you like what you heard, please like, comment and subscribe. Till next time.